Welcome to Latter-day Life Coaches, the podcast where each episode is a conversation between me, Heather Rackham, and one of my amazing coach colleagues. Each coach here is a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and certified through the Life Coach School. Together, we have one main goal, helping you live your best life no matter what. You ready for this conversation with the coach? Here we go. Hey, everybody. Here we are at the end of August. I can hardly believe it. Some people's kids are back in school. I think probably the majority of them are. Some of us that don't have kids at home are like, those that are in college, we're getting ready to be empty nesters again. I don't know. It's kind of a weird time, but here we are, nonetheless, for another fantastic podcast episode. We're sticking with our come follow me emphasis, and I have Coach Alicia Davis with me today. Hey, Alicia, how you doing?
So good. So happy to be here, Heather.
Oh, I am so happy to have you. Alicia, along with being a life coach, is also a seminary teacher. So it's kind of fun to have this come follow me emphasis and get to have somebody who spends a lot of time in the scriptures for a part of is it a calling for you where you live, or is it depending upon where people are, it's either a calling or a job or whatever. So
yeah, this one is a calling.
Okay.
In my stake, we don't have release time seminary. So I teach early morning, and it's the secret best calling in the church, honestly.
It's a big time commitment, but it is an amazing.
It is. It is, amazing. But it's okay. And I tell this to everybody because when people say, "Oh, you're a seminary teacher early morning," I could never do that. And I'm like, yeah, you could, and you'd fall in love with it, and then you'd never want to get released. It's that good. The kids are that amazing. So
that's awesome. All right. Well, now that I've kind of introduced a small part of your life, maybe you can, you've been on before, but maybe give people a quick rundown about you, and then we'll just kind of jump right in. We're in Psalms this week, so it's going to be a fun one, but let's hear a little bit about you, Alicia.
Yeah. So I'm Alicia Davis. I have been coaching since 2020, so I guess that's 6 years now, which that went really fast. I am a mom of 4 boys. 2 are adults. 1 gets off his mission, actually the day that this airs. Gets off his mission. So happy homecoming to my son for that one. So my 2 oldest will be at BYU, and I have 2 high schoolers. And so I'm really familiar with the whole boy mom world, and that's who I coach. I coach moms of boys, but I also recently have been expanding to coach teens because my heart has been with them in seminary so much. And I've just fallen in love with their hearts, their spirits, their challenges. And so I've been coaching teens a lot lately too. And spoiler alert, I'm actually prepping a mission prep lab that is coming soon, because I feel like missionaries need as much mental emotional prep as they can get too. So that's just a little bit about where I'm at right now with my coaching.
How exciting. That's kind of one of the things that I love about coaching is it really evolves as you go. And some coaches, if you're a coach listening to this and you're a newer coach, they sometimes think there's something wrong with that because they're like, wait, I can't settle. And I've changed my mind and I've done a whole bunch of different niches. I'm like, actually, that's the beauty of coaching. It evolves as you go, and you gain the experience. And anyway, it's an amazing thing. So good for you. It's awesome.
Completely agree. Yep.
All right. So like I said, we are in Psalms this week, and Alicia, we chit-chat a little bit before we hit record, and I love the perspective that you brought up. So I'm just going to kind of let you take it for a minute and tell us what your thoughts are here as we look at the scriptures and Psalms this week.
Yeah. So I think it's really easy to forget that Psalms were actually songs. They were sung, they were performed. It was almost like, a poetry reading with music. It was different. It wasn't just scripture that you were meant to read. It was meant to be listened to and experienced. And that brings a completely different element to it. And I think this always takes me back to our current hymns. And I love that we're getting new hymns right now too, because that just ties us into the Psalms too. Like, what is it about hymns that is so powerful? And we know that they bring the Spirit in very powerful ways. And sometimes I wish we could go back to that time of Psalms and listen to these scriptures, listen to these Psalms instead of just reading them. I think it would be more powerful. But the thing that impresses me most about this week's Psalms is that we get to know a lot more of the emotions of not only David, but the other composers of the songs. And we don't get feelings expressed often in the scripture. Not, I guess often isn't the right word. It's not something that's common in the scriptures. And so when we dive into these Psalms, it can actually bring up a lot of those either memories or feelings in us too. And it's a reminder that David experienced the whole variety of emotions. Everyone in the scriptures experiences the whole variety of emotions, and that's not bad. That's actually okay. I think a lot of times when we're in the middle of the challenges or the struggling emotions, we're like, there's something wrong. There's a problem. I need to fix this, right? And like coaching 101 is no, it's actually fine, right? I love when my clients come and they're like, oh, I have this problem to fix. Okay. I'm like, what are we going through? We go through the whole thing. And what it really comes down to is not really a problem to fix, but just I need to feel this, whatever I'm feeling before we can go in and really dive in and pull it apart. So that, first of all, was what stuck out to me most about David and the Psalms was it's okay to experience all the emotions. We've got them for a reason and they're here and let's express them. Let's find a way. You might not be a musician. Maybe you're going to express it a little bit of a different way, but let's find these emotions and let's express them in a way that helps us understand ourselves and understand the Lord a little bit better.
So in hearing what you're saying, I am curious how you have seen that play out with your clients. And like, how do you, because a lot of people are, most people are very resistant to feeling those emotions and
Yeah.
feeling and like letting them play through and sitting with them. What does that look like for, do you have any specific examples of how
Yeah.
people do that?
Yeah. In fact, I was working with a mom once. She had some uh, big events that were happening in her life and choices that she was trying to make. And she realized that there were these two emotions that she felt. And in her brain, she was like, I'm not supposed to feel this. I'm not supposed to, like, I shouldn't. And it was a judgment on her part. And I was able to help her see, like, why not? Like, why not feel both of these things at the same time? What's the problem with that? Where would this lead you if you did, right? And explore it. It's not so much the feeling that we have a trouble with, it's usually the judgment of the feeling.
Hmm.
And once we can get rid of the judgment, then we're able to just settle into it a little bit. The settling is tricky too, because a lot of times we want to avoid it or buffer away from the feeling. And so a lot of what I do is helping clients realize, oh, I'm actually doing this to avoid feeling this. I thought I was feeling this, but I'm actually not. And
Mm.
I'm scrolling instead, or I'm eating instead. And so helping them work through the judgment of the feeling. And then also, it sounds really funny, but most of the time when you're like, yeah, we're going to feel the feeling, nobody knows what that looks like. So there's the process, right? First of all, it's giving it a name. Like, the thing I'm feeling right now is worry. And I know that because I've experienced it before. And it's funny, but like, I think there's an actress who gets this, is it Meg? Is it Meg Ryan? She
Uh,
gets this thing like up above her, like that's her worry look, right?
yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
like that's where worry shows up for her. Like we name it, we know it's worry. We're like, okay, where does it actually show up in your body? Might be like at the top of your forehead, might be in your neck. You might have a really tight throat, might be in your chest, might be like a super tight gut. So it's literally slowing things down for the client and saying, okay, you can close your eyes if you need to, but we're just going to figure out where this is sitting in your body. And honestly, it just takes a little bit of effort and time to sit with a client and say, okay, close your eyes. Where do you feel this? Where are you actually? And they do. It just takes somebody to be able to sit with them in the middle of that and go, okay, what's the name? Where is that in your body? And what is it actually feeling like? Is it hot? Is it cold? Does it have a texture? Is it burning? Does it move? Right? There's just some questions that help discover where it's at in your body and help you settle and ease into it for just a little bit. And then it actually it settles. And it's funny, but the word that's coming up is simmers. Like instead of being a boiling
Yeah.
like pot of
Yeah.
water, it just kind of simmers so that you can experience it. And it softens the emotion, the tricky emotions too.
Hmm. Okay. So for people who are listening and thinking, well, why do I want to do that? Right? Like it's been
Right.
working just fine for me not to feel it for many years. Why would I ever want to sit and feel it? what would we tell them? Why would they want to feel it?
Well, and you said the key there, many years. It's been working for many years to be able to ignore
Uh-huh.
the fact that you have many years of this. Like that's a key that it's actually not getting fixed. And not that we're trying to fix it, right? But if it
Right.
keeps coming up over and over. So if we don't actually pay attention to these feelings, they just get bigger. That's why the scrolling, the eating, like all of the buffering away from the feeling, it's not going to work. So being able to process it and feel it actually helps it to ease, helps it to settle, and then you're able to actually access your decision making part of your brain and move forward instead of revisiting this thing over and over and over again and keep pushing it down and keep pushing it away.
Hmm.
So it helps with progression and becoming. I think that's why feeling emotions is so important.
Right. And I appreciate that you shared that, because that thought or thinking, well, I'm fine. Like, this is fine. I'm able to, go about my day and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people it doesn't stop them from doing the things that they
Mm-hmm.
might want to do. But the bottom line is you're capable of so much more.
Yes.
And like this I'm fine state is great, but what if there's more available to us? What if,
Okay.
like the scrolling or the things that you do so that you don't have to feel it are keeping you from doing something that you actually have no idea that you're capable of doing at this point in time?
Right.
And
Right.
so taking the time to actually feel these emotions and experience them, not only is that one way that we can be more like Christ, because I think he experienced all those things, but it also
Yes.
helps us tune in more to who we are and helps us to accomplish. And I like to look at it as, I'm not trying to be like Christ. I'm trying to be more me through Christ, right? Like I'm trying to be
Yeah.
more of who our heavenly parents created me to be by by following his example. And one of those ways to do that is by letting those emotions be there that we don't like it. Because I know for me, like there are so many things that I would love to do, but the fear of feeling something is what keeps me from doing it.
Mm-hmm.
We think it's the
Yeah.
fear of doing the thing itself,
And it's
but
not.
it's not. It's the feeling that we think accompanies it and likely will
Yeah.
accompany it, right? Like I'm going to feel the disappointment. I'm going to feel whatever accompanies failure, but it's okay. I can handle those things. And the beauty of handling those things is then we're also able to do the thing.
I love that you said that. That actually reminded me of Emily Bell Freeman's talk in conference in April. She talks about best days and worst days.
Okay.
And one thing that she said, I listened to this just this morning in the car. She said this: maybe it took both the worst days and the best days for Peter to become who the Lord needed him to become. And in my mind, I was like, oh my gosh, the Lord needs us to have worst days, worst emotions, and best days, like all the emotions, in order for us to become the people that we are capable of becoming. We
Mm.
have to have the variety. We need to do that. And then it also reminded me of it's that scripture in Isaiah, forget what chapter, but it talks about the Savior being a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. The Savior is getting to know all of the emotions. He's
Mhm.
allowing, he's not pushing it away. It's not like, oh, I don't need to feel that one. You can just go in. He's experiencing all of it. So if we're going to become the best version of ourselves through Christ, we follow him and we get acquainted with all of these emotions, knowing that they're not permanent. They're not all going to last forever, right? The challenging emotions are not going to stay,
Right.
and neither are the good ones. And we're just going to move through it. And this is what life is. And so the better we can understand how to do that, the more resilient we can be and the stronger our emotional health. In fact, that's what I'm trying to teach the teens that I'm working with right now. It's like, no, we're moving through it. We don't need to block any of it. We just need to learn how to work through it. So important for all of us.
Hmm. Well, and just since you specifically said that you were going to start doing some things for missionaries, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and we've talked about this. I don't know if it was you and me, but somebody else maybe on the podcast. But one of the things that I think we see our missionaries struggling with, like they're experiencing anxiety at levels that they're not used to experiencing it. A lot of them when they get on the mission field, and it's because they don't have their normal buffering mechanisms,
Yes.
right? Like
Yes.
when they experience emotions that they don't really enjoy, when they're home and in their regular environment, they can pick up their phone. They can go to see a friend. They can, there's so many things they can do. to
Yeah.
buffer those feelings away and not experiencing them. But when they're on their mission, those things are not available to them. I mean, there's some things, but most of them are really not there. And so those feelings of anxiety were probably there to some level before. They just weren't recognizing them because they were just buffering them away.
Right, exactly. And they're not going to have their AirPods to pick up and listen to the music they listen to. They're not going
Right.
to be able to play the video game or go online shopping or watch a YouTube short. Like none of that is available anymore. And the goal for the missionary prep is really let's train you to actually recognize some of this beforehand and see how you're buffering. What's your buffer of choice? Like, what do you normally do? And can you practice taking that off of the plate for a little bit and experiencing what this emotion feels like? And what else might you do with it? Not that you have to just sit. And here's the thing, I think most people think, oh, we're going to feel our emotions. It's like we have to sit in drudgery and just misery with all of these emotions until they decide to go away. And that's not the picture either, right? We don't want to tell our
Right.
missionaries, like, oh, you have to get used to this. Like,
Mhm.
no. What you do need is to have the right tools to be able to go, oh, this is anxiety, or this is worry, or this is disappointment, this is rejection, this is what this looks like. Okay, like, what are my tools? How am I going to do this? And the first one is you got to be able to name it. You have to have the vocabulary. And that's why Psalms is so amazing. David has the vocabulary to describe what he's feeling. So being in the Psalm, reading Psalms helps people understand how to describe what they're feeling. Also, I could harp on this forever. Feeling wheels, people know about them, but we're not using them enough. Like, put it up in your bathroom, put it on your kitchen fridge, right? Like, put somewhere where the kids are going to see it so that they can really start articulating, oh, this is what this feels like. Okay, now I know. I'm acquainted with this. Okay, I know that I can talk with my companion if I need to. I know I can pray if I need to. I know that this isn't going to last forever and then it's going to be okay eventually, right? Like, just getting practice with feeling it beforehand is huge.
Mhm. Yeah, it's so good. All right, thank you. Anything else about the feelings of Psalm that we want to okay, I see it
One
in
more
your
thing,
face.
actually.
Yeah.
There's one more. And here's the thing, getting acquainted with all of the emotions that we experience actually helps us get acquainted with how the Spirit feels and being able to articulate that. We know that the Spirit speaks to us in our mind and our heart. And we talk about the thoughts that pop up sometimes. And for me, the heart version of the Spirit speaking to me is the emotions, the feelings that I'm going to have. And actually, I wonder if we could link. I've got a tool that actually I would love to share
Oh,
with
yeah.
anybody that's listening. This is something that Kristen Walker Smith and I created together. It's called the Spirit Wheel. And you can't really see it, but on the inside, it's got all the emotions. But on the inside, it's got the fruits of the Spirit that are mentioned in various scriptures: peace, love, joy, faith, in addition to like feeling unsettled or stupid or constrained. So it's a wheel that helps people who may not know how to articulate or recognize what the Spirit feels like. It's kind of a beginner to go, okay, what am I feeling right now? And where does this fit on the Spirit? How does this work? So it's just a basic tool to help people begin to understand what the Spirit feels like in their
Mm,
life.
absolutely. Yeah. So you guys, those that are listening, look for that to be in the show notes and you can get that tool. That's brilliant. I think it is learning what the Spirit feels like is, I think it obviously comes with experience, wisdom, maturity, but there are so many things we can do to help people start to recognize that in their own lives. Because I think there are so many people who think that it's supposed to feel a certain way and they've never experienced that. And so then they've never felt the Spirit, they think. And so therefore, I'm either not faithful enough or I'm not doing something right or there's not truth in anything here or, like they attach all sorts of meaning
Yeah.
to it. So I think that's
Yeah.
brilliant.
And it's different for, like you said, it's different for everybody. And
Yeah.
so that's why the wheel is there. It's not like one size fits all with the Spirit. It's like, oh, which one is it today? Which
Yeah.
one is it for me? So yeah, I love that.
So good. So good. All right. Well, one of the things that I found in Psalms that I appreciated in Psalms 49, so this is written to ordinary people who are watching other people prosper, right? And The wealthy people seem powerful. They're successful. They're untouchable, right? The psalmist is essentially saying, don't be fooled. You're measuring the wrong thing here, right? It's these things
Mm,
are not, this isn't what makes us who we are.
yeah.
Like, this is what I think is important for people to recognize, though, is that comparison isn't really about other people and what other people have. Comparison is really more about what you make it mean about you. And it can be such a
Mm,
good teacher. We hate the feeling of comparison. First of all, we feel judgmental a lot of times, right? So if we talk about feelings that come along with comparison, sometimes we feel judgmental, then we feel shame because we feel like we're kind of judging other people. But then we also feel less than, and, we feel like we aren't as valuable or as important. And it's a really, if we could just take a step back, like you said, and feel what we're feeling, we could let that comparison really teach us something because we start to ask,
mm,
what am I making this mean about me? What can this teach me about what I lack in confidence about myself? What is it that I need to gain and let grow within me? So the problem we might tell ourselves are things like, that person has a better marriage, or they make more money, therefore maybe I'm not very successful, or their children are more faithful than I am, maybe they were a better parent than I was, right? Or they just seem happier, or their testimony seems stronger. If we have those thoughts, they lead to feelings.
yeah.
If we take it back there, right? And those feelings don't ever get us what we want. They just lead to
Mm,
more shame and kind of a spiral. And if we could just really learn from it rather than judge ourselves for having that, like, okay, so why do I think this person has a better marriage than me? Is that true? And maybe there is a little bit of truth in it. We don't know. Like, be willing to look at that. Maybe they do, but maybe they don't. Like, does the comparison help you in any way? Likely
mm,
not, because the comparison is going to keep you stuck rather than asking yourself more valuable questions, which are, okay, how can I love myself more so that I don't have these comparisons? How can I show up in my marriage in a way that will make me feel better and about this
hmm.
relationship rather than thinking that there's always something wrong? I don't know. I just think that comparison can be a really good teacher.
I agree. It's hitting the pause button on it and stepping out of it that allows the teaching to happen. And
Mm-hmm.
that is like the hardest part is being able to go, oh, I'm in the middle of the comparisons. Okay, hold on, I got to pause it. That is so hard because you're in the middle of all the emotions of it too,
Uh-huh.
right?
Uh-huh.
So, okay. So, how have you best found that it's easier to hit that pause button? Like, how do you do that? What's your
Well,
secret, Heather? I
no,
want to
I
know.
think just like what you said, like like curiosity is always our greatest tool, right? So when I think even with any emotion that we're feeling, just asking yourself, I wonder
Mm,
why I'm doing this. Why do I feel the need to compare myself to this person at this point in time? If we can learn to be curious when anything starts to come up for us, it will be much easier for us to push that pause button. And
yeah.
eventually, it's not always the easiest thing to do, like to be curious about it, because we've already started. Once we start to compare, once we start to go down that cycle, we've unleashed, right? We've unleashed the hounds, and
Yes.
it's coming for us. But if we really can just for a brief second just let some curiosity in, like, oh, I wonder why. This is interesting. I wonder why. I always like to tell myself and other people, like, can you take a step back and look at it like you were viewing a movie for a minute? Like, you were removed from the
Hmm.
story and you could just look at it from a different perspective, somebody who didn't have any skin in the game, and just watch it. What would you say?
Yeah.
And just be curious. So curiosity, I think, is what I would come up with there.
And you know what? I like thinking about the times that I have been in that comparison spiral. The hounds are released. I'm deep in it, right? Looking back at those moments, I think if I were to ask, like, what's really going on here? Like, what is this all about? I think more than anything, the comparison ends up being about something that I want or need that I don't have yet.
Hmm.
And and that opens up another door of like, okay, well, am I supposed to want this? Am I not? Like, what is the Lord willing to get? Like, it opens another door. But at least I've gone down the hallway to another door where I can explore more instead of being stuck in the comparison, the judgment, and the shame and that cycle of
Yes.
it, right?
Yeah.
And so, finding the questions that are going to be helpful to ask in that curiosity and maybe having a couple like set questions to
Hmm.
go into that, I think can be super helpful. Like what's really going on here? What do I really want?
Yeah.
Like why is my brain offering this?
I think that brings up a fantastic point because I have seen sometimes in my life that when I start to compare or I feel a twinge of jealousy, it's
Yeah.
because that person is accomplishing something that is a need inside of me that I have that maybe I haven't recognized before. And
Yeah.
what if we looked at it this way? What if that comparison was in some way something inside of us trying to push its way out and be like,
Mhm.
hey, this is something that you can do, that you were meant to maybe do this and bring out into the world yourself, and you haven't recognized it until you started seeing
Yeah.
this other person do it. I don't know. I think that has been also something else that I have tried to get curious about. Like, is this something that maybe I am interested in? Is this something that maybe I'm being called to do
Yeah.
myself? So I
Yeah.
thank you for bringing that point up. I think that's a really good
Yeah.
one.
It's funny because everybody goes back to that, well, comparison's a thief of joy. I'm like, it could be, but it doesn't have to be. Like you said, it could be the teacher. It
Yeah.
could be the door that leads you to discover what it
Mhm.
is that you really want and need next. So
Yeah.
yeah, I love that.
I think it's the thief of joy when we aren't curious about it, when we use it
Yes.
to thwart us,
Yes.
right? When that's the end of it, when the comparison is just
Yep.
there and we just, then it turns into jealousy or envy and that is not super beneficial for us, but it can be a
Right.
great teacher. It can be a springboard and a catalyst for something amazing if we can be curious about it and like use it for fuel rather than fire, to damn us and keep us stuck in one place. So,
Well said. You need to put that on a fridge magnet or something, Heather. That's good.
oh, well, okay, Alicia, this has been fantastic conversation. I think really helpful points from the Psalms that I haven't really necessarily thought of before. So thank you for bringing some new light to these scriptures and hopefully can bring some new light into some other people's lives as well as they listen. Before we leave, though, Alicia, can you tell people how they can connect with you? We did share that we will put in the show notes the feelings will, but what else could people get from you?
Yeah. So all my stuff is Alicia Davis Coaching. There's the website. That's my handle on Instagram. And I do have a podcast that is Raising Boys, the Real Story. That's if people want to listen to that one, that is there as well.
I love it. All right. Once again, we'll link to it all in the show notes. Thank you so much, Alicia. And everybody, as we close out August and start into September, I kind of look at September usually, it's kind of like the new year for me. September is kind of
Yeah.
like a new beginning for me. So I'm feeling a little excited for September because some good things come. But thank you so much, Alicia. And thank you to our listeners for being here. And we hope you'll join us again next time. Have a good one, everybody. Hey, we just wanted to thank you for spending part of your day here with us at Latter-day Life Coaches and being part of this conversation. Share this with your friends so that you can have a conversation with them on this topic as well. And as always, subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. Have a good one, my friends.